Okay, students, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We meet again with Ma'am Meka on the listening for proficiency test. We are going to practice right now. As I told you last week, we still practice and also try to do the test, for your exercises, for your sample of tests, and also for your your competence value or competence scores related to the Barron'S TOEFL, the Barron'S format. Okay, now we are going to take a look for the next slide. Okay, for IELTS listening test information, for the first time before we come to the test, before we come to the practice test for you, for all of you, for Barron'S format. Now, Mimika will try to give you the test information related to the IELTS listening. The IELTS listening test lasted for a total of 40 minutes. Remember that the listening only for 40 minutes. And then secondly, the IELTS listening recording will last only 30 minutes. The recording only for 30 minutes, but you will do the test in about 40 minutes because there is a rest of time. You need to pay attention for the instruction. You need to read about the questions on the test paper. The audio will give you a time to read, will give you a pause for a while to read and also to transfer your answer. Okay, the third information is about there are 4 parts in the listening IELTS test. Okay, as I told you before, that there are 4 sections on the listening test. And then the for paper-based test IELTS, you are required to write down the answers on the paper test, 10 minutes to transfer your answer. You have a time for about 10 minutes to transfer your answer on a paper-based test. But it is not the same, it is not similar with the computer listening test. There will be difference between the paper-based test on IELTS and also the computer listening test. On the paper-based, you have a time for 10 minutes to transfer your answer for all of your answers. You can check again, remind again, And then on the computer listening test here, you cannot do the same thing. On a paper-based test. On the computer listening test, the answer will be directly on the computer. So you have only 2 minutes to review your answer or make changes. Okay, only 2 minutes for your time for each question to review your answers related to each section. And then the 6, you will be given times to read the test instruction and questions before recording starts. Okay, this one you have time to read too. So it's not necessary. It's not you have a time to rest for a while and then to concentrate on the question. You have to focus on the question first before you listen to the audio. And then 7, if there is a wrong spelling words of your answer, it is counted wrong. Remember, if you write down the word, 1 word or 2 words, and then there is a misspelling here of the word, of course, this is wrong, not right. Okay, this is a little information about the listening test of IELTS. Okay, let's continue to the next slide. This is the band information about the IELTS. Of course, if you get the pass of IELTS, you will have, we call it as a band. The score is called a band. Okay, this is the IELTS skills. If the band is 9, the user or the examiner can be called as an expert. Okay. The test taker has fully operational command of the language. The use of English is a appropriate, accurate, and fluent, and shows complete understanding. Because the all band here is not only for listening but also in other skills. Yeah, consists of writing and then reading and also speaking. That is for IELTS. So here, if you got band 9, you are the expert. Of course, this one, your speaking is fluent. Okay, this is about the band 9 for the IELTS test. And then for band 8, this is for very good user. The test taker has fully operational command of the language with only occasional and systematic inaccuracies and inappropriate usage. They may misunderstand some things in an unfamiliar situation, and then they handle complex and detailed argumentation well. Okay, this is for band 8. And how about band 7, the good user? The test taker has operational command of the language, though with occasional inaccuracies, inappropriate usage, and misunderstanding in some situations. Only in some situations, yeah. They generally handle complex language well and understand detailed reasoning. Okay. For band 7, 8, and 9, this is a very good or still good and the expert user. And then how about the under 7 band? Okay, take a look now. Okay, I just try to tell you about the band, yeah, in upper level, not in lower level, yeah, because your target, yeah, for the test, yeah, will be on a higher level, not in a lower band, yeah, okay, in a higher band. Okay, remember, just stop up to the 5th or band 5, yeah. For band 6, here we call it as the competent user. Okay, the test taker here is a competent user, has an effective command of the language despite some inaccuracies, inappropriate usage, and misunderstandings. They can use and understand very complex language. Yeah, complex language, and then particularly in a familiar situation. Okay, and how about the last band, 5 band? The test taker here is called modest user, okay, or modest user. The test taker has a partial command of the language and copes with overall meaning in a most situation. Although they are likely to make many mistakes, they should be able to handle basic communication in their own field. Okay, this is about 6 band, yeah. 5 band. We have started from 9 and then 8 and then 7, 6, and 5. Okay, I hope that you are on this on this band level, yeah, not lower than this band. Okay, now next, yeah, this is the target for all test taker, the examiner, or the participant of the test. Okay, the 9 band will be the target for all of them. Okay, next, on a Barron's listening test section, okay, Mameka will try to deliver again about the test that you are going to do. Yeah, today, yeah, there are 4 sections. Yeah, the first section consists of form completion, labeling, and multiple choices. So there is a multiple choices here for choosing A, B, or C, not more than 3 choices. Okay, this is about on the first section, yeah. And then on the second session, we have 3 kinds of exercises types or test types, yeah, related to form completion too, and then labeling and table completion. Okay, almost the same with the first section, yeah. The first and the second type of the task, that is for form completion. You have to complete the form, you have to complete such kind of a form, related to the form from the institution or something else, somewhere else. And then the third, on the second section, that is table completion. So it means here you have to complete the blank table, okay, with some information on it, and also the instruction. How many words you should complete it related to the table, or what number, okay, should be completed. Sometimes will be words or number. Okay, and then section 3. On section 3 consists of two types of tests. Okay, the first type is about short answer, and then the second, sentence completion. Okay, you have to complete the sentences related to the audio. And then the last section, just one type. Okay, one type of test on section 4, only sentence completion. Yeah, you need to complete the sentences related to 1, 2, or 3 words, not more than 3 words. Okay, and then next. Okay, you are going to do the task here, or the practice, by using the link on the description of my video. Okay, you can take a look on the description of my video here, and then click the link while you are listening and also watching this video related to the task items. The task items will be on the screen of this video, and then also for the audio. But you have to do the answers, the answers of the test on the link that I give on that I write down on the description of my video. Okay, read the instruction on each type of the test. Remember, on each of the tests will have different instruction related to the test item. What should you do on each type? What should you do on sentence completion? What should you do on table completion? What should you do on the labeling? And what should you do on the multiple choices? Okay, there are so many kinds of labeling too. Sometimes try to type only a letter, or maybe just try to choose the picture, Okay, now we have so many different instructions. Pay attention on it. Okay, click the link on the description of my video. Okay, now we are going to start for the test, by clicking the answer on the link on the description. And now we have to listen for the audio and also the exercises from this video. Okay, let's try to listen and do the test.
Practice Test 3. You will hear a number of different recordings, and you'll have to answer questions on what you will hear. There will be time for you to read the instructions and questions, and you will have a chance to check your work. All the recordings will be played once only. The test is in 4 sections. Write all of your answers on the test pages. At the end of the test, you will be given 10 minutes to transfer your answers to an answer sheet. Now turn to section 1 on page 83. Section 1. You will hear a woman making a hotel reservation over the phone. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 4 on page 83. You will see that there is an example that has been done for you. On this occasion only, the conversation relating to this will be played first.
Good afternoon, Grandview Hotel. Yes, hello. I'm planning to spend a few days in your city next week, and I'd like to, make a reservation.
The man answers the phone. Grandview Hotel. So the word Grandview has been written at the top of the form. Now we shall begin. You should answer the questions as you listen, because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 4.
Good afternoon, Grandview Hotel.
Yes, hello. I'm planning to spend a few days in your city next week, and I'd like to, make a reservation.
Of course. When did you want to stay here?
Next week, Wednesday night and Thursday night.
So that's February 13th and 14th.
Yes, that's right.
And how many guests will there be?
Just me. So, do you have a room available?
Yes, we do. I'll just need to take some of your information. May I have your name, please?
Oh, right, yes. It's Roxanne Wilson. Wilson.
Thank you, Miss Wilson. And may I have your credit card number?
It's 233-618-9872.
9872. Got it. All right, Miss Wilson. I have your reservation confirmed. Can I help you with anything else?
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 5 to 10 on page 83. Now listen and answer questions 5 to 10.
Well, yes, I was wondering, since I'll have a couple of free hours Friday morning before I leave, is there anything interesting to see close to the hotel?
Do you like museums? The art museum's very close by.
I love museums, but not art. Can't stand it. I've heard your city has a very interesting science museum, though.
Yes, but unfortunately it's closed in the winter. Are you interested in shopping?
Sure, I love shopping. Are there any good stores nearby?
Yes, we have a large shopping mall just 2 bus stops away. You take the bus to Monument Square, and it's just half a block from there. Just look for the post office, and you'll see the mall entrance next to it.
Fabulous. What about lunch? I hear your city has good restaurants.
Yes, there's a nice restaurant very near. It's just across the street from the park.
Sounds good. I can have lunch, then walk in the park afterwards. I have one more question. What's the best way to get to the hotel from the airport?
Subway is the fastest, of course. There are buses, but they're quite slow.
I'll be arriving quite late, after 10 p.m. I thought I might have to take a taxi.
The subway runs until midnight.
Oh, good. Then I'll do that. Will there be someone at the hotel front desk that late?
Oh, yes. The front desk stays open until 2.
That is the end of section 1. You now have half a minute to check your answers. Section 2. You will hear a tour leader giving information about a bus tour. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 15 on page 84. As you listen to the first part of the talk, answer questions 11 to 15.
Thank you for choosing City Tours. The reason so many people choose our tours when visiting this city is because you can design your tour to suit your own interests. Your all-day pass entitles you to board our bus at any stop and stay as long as you like at each place. The all-day bus pass costs $18 for adults. Children between the ages of 5 and 12 pay half the adult fare, and children under 5 ride for free. Our buses run every hour on the half hour, starting at 8:30 a.m. Our most popular tour is the Centre City Tour, which goes to all the major attractions in the centre of the city. From the starting point here at the tour bus office, the bus goes to the first stop, Hill Park. As you may guess, this park is located at the top of a small hill. The next stop is the fishing docks. Following that, the bus goes on to the third stop, Bay Bridge, located at the foot of the bridge which crosses the bay. The fourth stop is in the shopping district. Then the fifth and last stop is at Green Street.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 16 to 20 on page 85. Now listen and answer questions 16 to 20.
There are many interesting things to do and see on the Centre City Tour. At the first stop, you can enjoy a spectacular view of the bay, the city, and especially of the fishing docks, which are located at the foot of the hill. At the second stop, you can walk around and look at the boats. Fresh fish from the bay is also for sale here, since this is the place where the fishermen bring in their catch. The next stop is where some of the city's finest seafood restaurants are located, so you might want to plan a lunch stop here. You can eat fresh fish here, prepared in the traditional local way. The fourth stop is, of course, where you can do your shopping. Don't miss the opportunity to purchase some of our city's famous handmade baskets. You'll want to take several home as souvenirs of your visit to our city. Finally, at the last stop on the tour, you can visit one of the oldest buildings in our city, the theatre. This building was built over 400 years ago and is still used today as a place to see plays, musicals and other performances, as well as our annual film festival.
That is the end of section 2. You now have half a minute to check your answers. Now turn to section 3 on page 86. Section 3. You will hear a conversation between two students planning a research project. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 23 on page 86. As you listen to the first part of the conversation, answer questions 21 to 23.
We'd better start planning our research project because we don't have much time left before it's due.
I know, only 3 more weeks.
Is that all? I thought we had more time than that. Well, let's get to work then.
Okay, so we agreed we're going to interview shoppers about their spending habits. Did we decide to conduct our interviews at the department store?
We haven't decided anything definitely yet, but I think the shopping mall would be a better place. We'd get more of a variety of shoppers there.
Yes, that's a good point. So let's do that. How many interviews did the professor say we had to complete?
She said at least 30. That sounds like a lot, doesn't it?
Yes, but if we divide it up between the two of us, that's just 15 each. That's not so bad.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 24 to 30 on page 86. Now listen and answer questions 24 to 30.
Okay, so I guess we'd better start designing our questionnaire.
Well, we have to do some reading first, don't we? Didn't we say we were going to compare our results to the results of a government study?
Right, the government study about how the economic crisis has changed people's spending habits. We want to see if we get similar results.
Yes, so we'd better read that first and then design our questionnaire. Then I guess we'll be ready to go out and interview shoppers.
No, don't you remember? The professor said she had to approve our questionnaire first before we actually conducted the interviews.
Oh, right. So we'll get her approval and then conduct the interviews. I think it's Saturday would be the best day for the interviews because everyone's out shopping then.
Right. We'll do it on a Saturday then.
And let's also plan to get together the next day to analyse the results. It's best to do that while everything's fresh in our minds, don't you think?
Sure, that sounds like a good idea. Okay, so then we're going to have to present our results to the class. Do you have any ideas for that? It's an important part of our grade, so I think we should plan it well.
Well, I think the obvious thing is to prepare some charts showing our results and how they compare with the government study. That will help make the information a lot clearer to the class.
Right. Okay, so we'll draw up some charts of the results.
And then that's it. All that will be left to do is give the class presentation. Do you think we can be ready on time?
I sure hope so. Let's get started now.
That is the end of section 3. You now have half a minute to check your answers. Section 4. You will hear a professor give a lecture on Louisa May Alcott. First, you have some time to look at the questions 31 to 40 on page 87. Now listen carefully and complete the timeline in questions 31 to 40.
Good afternoon. Today I'd like to continue our discussion of the lives of prominent American writers by talking about Louisa May Alcott, one of the best-known 19th century writers. Alcott is known for her moralistic girls' novels, but she was a much more serious individual than those novels might lead one to believe. She was born in 1832, the daughter of Bronson Alcott, who was one of the founders of the Transcendentalist movement. Bronson Alcott was a philosopher, but not a provider, and the family lived close to poverty. From an early age, Louisa was determined to find a way to improve her family's economic situation. As a teenager, she worked to support her family by taking on a variety of low-paying jobs, including teacher, seamstress, and household servant. Alcott also started writing when she was young. She wrote her first novel when she was just 17 years old, although it wasn't published until many years after her death. It was called The Inheritance. In 1861, the Civil War broke out. Alcott worked as a volunteer, sewing uniforms and bandages for soldiers. The following year, she enlisted as an Army nurse. She spent the war years in Washington, nursing wounded soldiers at a military hospital. While working at the hospital, she wrote many letters to her family at home in Massachusetts. After the war, she turned the letters into a book, which was published under the title Hospital Sketches. She also wrote numerous romantic stories, which she sold to magazines. Around this same time, she was offered the opportunity to travel to Europe as the companion to an invalid. When she returned home from Europe in 1866, she found her family still in financial difficulty and in need of money, so she went back to writing. Her big break came in 1868, with the publication of her first novel for girls, Little Women. The novel achieved instant success, and the public wanted more. From then on, Alcott supported herself and her family by writing novels for girls. It wasn't the writing she had dreamed of doing, but it earned her a good income. Alcott took care of her family for the rest of her life. In 1878, her youngest sister May got married. A year later, May died after giving birth to a daughter. Louisa Alcott raised her sister's orphaned child. In 1882, Bronson Alcott suffered a stroke. Soon after that, Louisa Alcott set up a house for him, her niece, her sister Anna, and Anna's 2 sons in Boston. Her mother was no longer living by this time. Alcott was still writing novels for girls, including 2 sequels to Little Women, Little Men and Joe's Boys. The latter was published in 1886. Louisa Alcott had suffered poor health ever since she contracted typhoid fever while working as a war nurse. She died in March of 1888, at the age of 55. She was buried in Concord, Massachusetts.
That is the end of section 4. You now have half a minute to check your answers. You will now have 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the listening answer sheet.
Okay, students, this is the last of your test. I hope that you will be lucky, on this task, related to the Barron formats. Thank you so much for today's learning and today's meeting. We will see you again on the next different format for next week meeting. And goodbye. Thank you. Billahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good luck.